What's up guys, it's your boy Alien Theory here, back with another video. I hope everyone except Shane Black is having a great day today, and today I'm going to be talking about the now infamous alternate ending to The Predator. When it comes to the movie as a whole, the jury is pretty much out on this fourth film in the Predator series. Critics tore it apart and many fans were left disappointed, to say the least. I don't know. I thought it was alright. Some good moments, some cool action, and the effects, specifically the practical effects, were a joy to watch on the screen. But if the production wasn't marred by studio interference with Shane Black's vision, then it certainly suffered for his lack thereof. The movie has many ideas to play with and doesn't really bring much of it all to focus, and this seems to be evidenced by the reports of footage that was scrapped from the final film. Footage that significantly changes the story of the film. A tertiary villain character played by Edward James Olmos, commanding Sterling K. Brown's character it would seem, completely cut out. Some kind of Marine Predator team-up, with the gang riding a tank, presumably part of the climactic showdown, with scientists morphing into predators or something like that, completely cut. These definitely aren't on the Blu-ray special features either, so who knows how fully it may have been realized before it was scrapped. Probably quite a lot more that we haven't even heard of yet. One thing we definitely have been made aware of, however, is an alternate ending, or possible multiple alternate endings, which not only change the film entirely, but do it at the cost of carelessly throwing in beloved franchise characters in a way that makes little sense. It all started when John K. Miller and Alec Gillis of Studio ADI shared some hidden secrets behind this alternate ending on Instagram, showing a somewhat familiar-looking device with a very familiar logo. Gillis explains. There was debate about the end sequence of The Predator. One idea was to have a cryo chamber with a surprise character revealed in stasis. This person's face would be concealed by a high-tech life support mask. Tom Woodruff Jr. suggested the mask could have the feel of a facehugger as a nod to the Alien franchise. ADI was given 7 days to build it from Fausto DiMartini's concept work. It didn't make it in the final cut, but a fun build. Credit where it's due, I actually think the design is really cool, and maybe they could save it for a future movie, maybe even just something in the background. And I think it's all well and good that Studio ADI was able to share some cool behind-the-scenes footage of their hard work, their own footage of their work, and were able to tantalize the fans and certainly spark some debates on social media over how this may have made its way into the movie. That it did. My first impression, personally, was that it must have been reserved for a Dutch cameo. We heard plenty of rumors that Arnold Schwarzenegger might have returned for a little appearance. Even when those rumors were debunked, we still kind of had the hope that maybe it was underway, but they were being secretive, not wanting to spoil the surprise. I don't know about you, but when I went into the theater to see The Predator, even knowing this, even knowing it was very unlikely to see such a thing happen, I still kind of expected, even to the bitter end, to see that beautiful Austrian mug winking at the camera in a surprise cameo. Instead, we got this advanced predator-killer suit thing, which was underwhelming. But anyway, these posts from ADI sharing the biomask were shared in early December of 2018, with the earliest hints of this scene tracing back, as far as I can tell, to October 2018 when the concept art was shared by Fausto DiMartini. But in late December, early January, things got pretty crazy pretty fast. Some mind-blowing, or perhaps mind-numbing, details of this alternate ending were shared by another member of the ADI team. I'm not going to pretend to be some Hollywood-savvy business insider or anything like that, but maybe, just maybe, this person shared something that he shouldn't have shared? I can't say for sure, but the posts have been removed, and that's kind of telling. But, of course, once something is posted on the internet, it's pretty much there, in perpetuity, even if the posts have been deleted, so why they've gone missing is anybody's guess. If this is a case of someone sharing something they shouldn't have, then for their privacy's sake, let's just call this person YUTANI Eviscerator. On December 30th, YE shared an image that left no question as to the original intention of who was to show up in this scrapped ending. He explains, "We shot 3 different endings for the Predator, all variations of a Predator Killer. This unused ending was Predator Killer Ripley wearing the breather mask we created for the film. You can see her name tag there on her costume." Definitely not what I was expecting, but as if that wasn't enough, only 2 or 3 days later, YE shared another behind-the-scenes glimpse into another variation. He explains, this unused ending was Predator Killer Newt, aka Rebecca Jordan, wearing the breather mask we created for the film. You can see her name there on the monitors. Brianna Watkins played Newt. The moving fingers and tail on the mask were deemed too facehugger-like on the day and were cut and removed by someone. This was, I guess, a pretty eventful and maybe confusing 7 days of the production on The Predator. It raises many questions. Whose idea was it? Was it Shane Black? Was it some studio executive that pushed for it, hoping to maybe give the movie a little extra hype? Was the Ripley or Newt ending always intended, or at least kept in mind as a possibility from the film's inception, or was it a last-minute thing? Maybe most important to ask, what exactly would such an ending imply on a larger scale of things as it relates to both the Alien and Predator universe? Since The Predator takes place in modern day and the events of Aliens takes place much further in the future, the implication firstly would be that in this universe, humans, or the Yautja species, or both, have access to time travel technology. Kind of silly to bring into the last minute or so of the movie for the sake of a surprise ending, but I'm not totally averse to the idea of time travel in the series. It goes hand in hand with sci-fi and the pulpy ideas that are at the core of Alien's roots. And it's not as if it's so far-fetched after we saw Ripley cloned in Alien Resurrection. It's also hard to think of a science fiction series that didn't resort to outrageous time travel plotlines at some point, especially in attempts to maybe course-correct certain elements, all with varying results. Erasing the events of X-Men 3 from the timeline? Good. Erasing the events of Terminator 1 and 2 from the timeline? Bad. I suppose this ending to The Predator would have technically erased or implied the erasing of the events of Alien 3 and Resurrection. Some may find that good, some may find that bad. Most would agree it's pretty stupid to shoehorn this into the last act of a subpar Predator movie anyway. But I wonder if there had been some actual thought put into this, like say this was indeed Shane Black's idea, and he had a complete scenario of how this came to be, and would either explore it in a future movie or leave it for someone else to explore, to pick up on, with some notes and bullet points on what brought Ripley or Newt, or maybe even both, to present-day Earth. Newt is an adult in this conception, so maybe there's an implication that the Earth War storyline from the comics actually took place instead of Alien 3. Her outfit in these images actually does kind of look like what she wears in the comics, at least in Earth War/Female War. Just a little bit, but maybe I've had the Earth War comics on my mind a little too much lately. Going by the continuity of the Dark Horse comics, there was the Earth War, but Ripley, Newt, and Hicks made no appearances thereafter, though the war affected all events that followed in pretty much all the comics in one way or another. And yes, of course, in this Dark Horse comics universe, aliens and Yautja coincide in this specific continuity. But where are Ripley and Newt and Hicks after the war? Obviously, the real answer is that Alien 3 came along shortly after this comic arc and killed off the characters. So Newt became Billy, Hicks became Wilkes, Ripley became a robot, and that was pretty much that in the rewrites. But if the ending of The Predator would have suggested the Earth War storyline did take place, then there's a story somewhere of these characters encountering the Yautja, some kind of conflict, and ultimately being brought back in time to present-day Earth via some kind of time travel technology. But maybe that's wishful thinking, maybe it had no relation to the comics whatsoever, and there was some other plotline thought up, maybe one that would have complemented and left the door open for Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5. Who knows? Though I was rewatching The Predator recently, and at the beginning it looks like the fugitive Predator's ship opens up some kind of rift or wormhole in space and time before making its way to Earth. So maybe there's a clue to what could have been there? Maybe? But more than likely, unfortunately, I think I've put way more thought into this than they did when putting the scenes together. I think it was just proposed to be a cheap thrill, to have people speculating and talking about it, which I'm doing right now, so scrapped or not, mission accomplished on that front. That's the problem with such a crucial yet flexible plot element to Shane Black's movie. The fugitive Predator's cargo is a MacGuffin. It could have been anything: Ripley, Newt, Arnold, a special suit. And really nothing except for the few precious final moments of the film would change at all. It would have been the same stupid ending anyway, except with maybe some horrible cheesy dialogue where McKenna is looking down at Ripley, the scientist asks, "Who's that?" And he's all like, "Looks like the newest member of my squad. Time to kill some predators." Credits. No thanks. I think beloved characters like Ripley and Newt deserve better than to be thrown in as an afterthought. Whoever had the good sense to abort this operation, I thank you. Whether it be Shane Black himself, or a producer maybe, or possibly a test audience, who knows? When Alec Gillis shared the footage of the facehugger mask, he said that nothing was filmed, and may I remind you that at no point did he specify any characters. That was compliments of YE's Instagram, not Gillis or Miller or DeMartini. YE's posts tell a different story. we clearly see cameras, at the very least recording test footage. And in regards to the Newt ending, we can see the microphone hovering over Brianna Watkins. Newt had something to say, it seems. Maybe the ending reached further than we thought. Again, a Hollywood insider I am not, but I at least hope Watkins got some SAG dues for this. We all wish her the best of luck. Do you think the endings were filmed past the point of test footage, and maybe even made its way to an early cut of the film? Are you curious to see this footage, if it exists, or should we just let this one be? Comment below and share your thoughts. As always, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, and you can also subscribe for all the latest videos from the channel. Definitely check out Studio 80i's YouTube and Instagram as well. They share lots of cool behind-the-scenes stuff like this. I'll leave a link below. A very, very special thanks goes out to WEYLAND YUTANI executives EmYarUk and Lady Anne, part of the Patreon Hive. If you'd like to join the Hive and support the channel, check out my Patreon page for exclusive posts and contests. In the meantime, you can catch up with Alien Theory over social media. Follow @alien_theory on Twitter and @alientheoryyt on Facebook and Instagram for more. And until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.